everybody. I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance. Language of bromance. Bromance. That's going to be our new intro.
I like it.
We don't need intro music anymore. We're doing this.
Bromance. Just that.
Oh my God, we could do it. We could do it like an
acapella group.
No, not like it. Well, yes, but like those shows you had in the 70s. You know, where two detectives are walking down the street and there's like a bass playing.
Oh,
bromance. And then we do a Charlie's Angels pose.
Who's gonna be our third? Or is it just us two, back to back?
It's just us two, yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
That should be our cover on our YouTube page.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You could do it. You could do it all seven, like in like the Shaft.
Yeah, quick zoom ins. Today's case: Richard and Shawn fight.
Oh my God!
Actually, Richard, that's a good segue.
We need to do a photo shoot.
I'm down. You got the green screen. Let's do it. But
yeah,
our first case, Richard, is going to be this. It is going to be the case of the Cassowary.
The Cassowary?
Yeah, Cassowary. Cassowary. Let's see how you actually pronounce it. Cassowary. Wait, do they pronounce it for you? Do they say it for you? Usually they do.
The Cassowary.
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 We'll call it the Cassowary. So, Richard, this Cassowary, we talk about a lot of deadly things in nature. We talk about it all the time. Like we talked about the mountain lions. That dude that survived the mountain lion attack.
But I mean, we kind of myth-busted that.
Yeah, we haven't gone back to see we find out that it wasn't even it was in a trap and he strangled it, but it was like a kitten.
It was declawed.
Yeah, it was in a zoo. It was
distracted with yarn.
It was actually like a hostel type thing where you go in, you get to kill exotic animals, but you have to pay a hefty price. And he got caught.
Hostile, but with baby animals.
He goes in and some mountain lion's trying to escape. He's like, "Whoa, how'd you do it?" He's like, make it quick." He's like, "No, I'm gonna strangle it with my foot."
You're walking down the hall and you just see there's a room and there's one dude just stepping on eggs.
What are those eagle eggs? Crunch, crunch, crunch. Fuck these birds,
USA, right? USA, crunch, crunch, crunch.
Wait, I think you're doing it wrong.
That's not how USA works.
You should be sitting on those eggs. Those are America's eggs. Well, Richard, you can't really bury this lead because, they talk about it right away, but it's going to lead us into an interesting tale of these amazing birds. So fairly recently, this is April 13th of 2019. I'm just going to read the headline. So it's a bird. So it's a large flightless bird attacks and kills its fallen owner.
Oh my God, the bird killed somebody?
Yeah. Richard, where do you think this takes place?
It's like the birds.
Yeah, it is. Except those were small birds. This is a big bird. So just to give you...
Oh my God, Big Bird killed somebody?
Yeah, he did. So a cassowary, it kind of looks like an ostrich and a flamingo mixed together. So it has a dark body,
what
a dark...
unholy creation are you describing to me right now?
Well, this one I'm looking at, it's got a flamingo-looking head. It's got a little mohawk. It's blue, a little bit of orange with a black hairy-ass looking body. It's got one leg on the ground, the other one perched up like a flamingo. But
this sounds like a fucking abomination.
Oh, it is, Richard. It is.
And it probably killed its owner because it has become sentient. And it's like, what did you do to me?
This is what happens in
the owner created it in a lab and it's like, kill me.
This is what's going to happen in I don't know, 50 years when dogs become more aware and you bred me so I can't breathe. Yeah.
Where's your God now?
But Richard, where do you think this story takes place? If you had to pick or understand where a story about a bird killing its owner, where do you think this would take place?
Well, my first instinct would be to say Florida because weird shit lives in Florida, but it's not. I'm not gonna say Florida because it's an animal, And if I know anything about the world, is that any animal that wants to kill, if there's any animal that wants to kill you, that animal resides in Australia.
Yeah, I'm going to give you 2
I
points,
knew
Richard.
it.
Because one, this does take place in Florida, Alcachua, Florida. And two, this bird is native to Australia and New Guinea, not America.
I knew it.
So this is from the AP. So a large flightless bird native to Australia and New Guinea attacked and killed its owner when the man fell on his farm in Florida. So set the scene for you. So the Alcachua County Fire Rescue Department told the Sun that a cassowary killed the man Friday on the property near Gainesville, likely using its long claws. The victim was apparently breeding the birds, the state wildlife officials said. So, like I said, we're doing our detective thing. It's our new series we're going to do. It's Shawn and Dick. Dick and Shawn on the case.
Yeah.
First case, this dude hasn't called his kids for a while. They're like, yeah, he raises birds. He's kind of weird. We're going to show up thinking like he raises what? Woodpeckers, maybe parakeets.
Private Dick and Sergeant Shawn.
Yeah, I like it. We show up at this dude's house expecting parakeets. What do we see? Fucking these cassowaries running around.
Fucking unholy fucking abomination. Did we make these? We made these, didn't we?
No,
we
I don't think we made these.
And a flamingo together, and we held a gun to the flamingo's head, and we were like, "You're gonna fuck that ostrich." And the flamingo's like, "No, I just want to stand here on one leg." And then we said, "No, you're gonna fuck the ostrich." Click. And then the flamingo,
you Russian roulette with it. It's like, oh yeah, missed that time, didn't they? Put 2 more rounds in there. Deer hunter, this bullshit. Yeah, get that reference from the 80s. 70s? What year did that movie come out?
Oh God, I don't remember.
It's a weird movie. That's a movie that like I shouldn't have watched at the age I watched it. And it was always the scene where they're going to that like Tywin Russian roulette like scene where the dude's like, it's like competitive Russian roulette, which made no sense to a 12-year-old. Like, wait, so who wins? Well,
you know what? Let's be fair. It makes no sense to like a 25-year-old.
True. So who wins? It's like, how do you become a professional at this? Well, you get lucky about 4 or 5 times. There aren't too many veterans in this game.
No, you wouldn't think so.
I never understood that. It's like, what's the fun in that?
I think it's the thrill. It's the thrill of fucking danger.
Oh, wasn't that what was the movie where the teacher went into like the really bad neighborhood and like was teaching the kids, and then he ended up like killing some of the kids, and then he played like Russian roulette with one of the kids because the kid was obsessed with Deer Hunter.
Shit, I don't know.
It had what was the dude from Training Day? What was his name?
Ethan Hawke?
No, the other one.
Oh my God.
Denzel Washington. Yeah, I think he was in it. God, that's a weird pull. That's like a weird like memory bubble I wish I didn't have. Anyway, Richard, we show up here like the grass hasn't been mowed for a while. We're walking through it. If there's like an overhead drone watching us, because again, we're doing this live for our YouTube channel. So of course we're gonna have drones all over, like videotaping this. And behind us, what do they see? It's like,
let's be fair. This is us on our budget. We have one drone.
It's not even a good drone, and I'm the one manning it.
There's like duct tape on one of the things because I was trying to look at boobies.
We duct tape our phones to it to get different angles, and they're really not. It's just like B film. So we're doing this,
it's
and like
not flying right. Well, yeah, because it's got 3 phones duct taped to it.
Wait, did you duct tape it?
Tiffany's like, have you guys seen my phone? No.
What's your password again?
Oh crap! I gotta put in the passcode.
Every time, Richard, I tell you, turn the passcodes off when we put the plane in the air. Sorry.
Oh, went to sleep.
But if you looked at that film or that video, Richard, what you'd see behind us would be like Jurassic Park 2, the little raptors running through the long grass behind the people. Because that's what these are. These look like raptors almost, and they have the big claws.
That dude.
I know. So we're talking to Deputy Chief Jeff Taylor.
We made these. We had to have made these. That's what happened.
Yeah, probably somehow.
This is the lab experiment that got out.
And I've got some details on these.
I don't even want to see a picture. Yes, I do. I want to see a picture.
Look up a cassowary. Cassowary. Holy shit. If you go to the Wikipedia page, this one looks like it's got man legs. It looks like there's some phone company that's got this hairy looking thing.
That.
Yeah. How'd you like one of those jumping on top of your chest?
It looks like No, you know what it looks like? It looks like
It looks like a
no.
70s NHL like play-by-play announcer's hair, like the fake hair.
But then somebody attached a turkey head to it.
Yeah. And then like man legs to it. Good Lord. There's some weird stuff in the world, isn't there?
That was made in a lab. I don't care what. My God didn't make this. I mean, I'll give you the platypus, but not this.
Well, platypuses, they're weird, but they at least are kind of cute. This thing, like, again, is,
or is it platypi?
I don't know, I like saying pusses, so platypuses. So the deputy, Jeff Taylor, says, my understanding is that the gentleman was in the vicinity of the bird and at some point fell. When he fell, he was attacked. So, like, you think, you know, if you have animals that you raise, like if you raise cows and you fall, what do? They don't, like, come trample you. Maybe by accident. Pigs can be dicks sometimes, but I think it's more of whenever there's, like, blood or food.
Pigs might do it. I've always heard stories of fucking, like, the farmers out, like he's out there with his fucking bucket and he dumps the bucket in the trough, and that's why they always stand outside, like they always dump the food from the outside, because the pigs will actually, like, they will deliberately knock you over
to eat you.
They're hungry, and so they'll knock you over and then they'll fucking chew your face off.
Well, I've heard, so pigs are super smart. Like, I think they're like up there with dolphins and humans.
And they're the smartest animal we've been able to domesticate.
And I guess they don't consider dolphins domesticated, right? Or would they?
Right. I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't say dolphins are domesticated. Like I could go buy a pig and keep it in the house if I so chose.
Well, I mean, I know a guy that'll sell you a dolphin and give you a cassowary for half off because it's got a
hopefully it's not
rap
this
sheet.
Guy.
But no, and then what was I going to say about pigs? So, and the other thing I heard is, which is kind of creepy, and it's probably from Dexter, but they said if you want to get rid of a body, put it into a pig trough, and they'll have it like gone in like a day, like everything.
Yeah. They'll take they take everything.
Yeah.
They take fucking bones.
And then they grind that up and put it in your hot dogs.
Yep.
Think about that, Richard, next time you eat into a Oscar Mayer wiener.
It sure was an Oscar. So is the song I Wish It Was an Oscar Mayer wiener, or is that because you want to commit suicide and then be fed to pigs?
You know what? That would be a weird way to do it. Because most of the time when you think about like doing that, it's like, you know, you want like some kind of, you know, notoriety. But if you do that, like everybody's going to be like, what happened? I don't know. He disappeared. And that's what happens to all the people that disappear. It's pigs.
Maybe. I've always heard stories of like you know farmers that like just fucking you don't see them, especially like way back in the day, that like farmers like disappeared.
Yeah. Oh.
And nobody knows what the fuck happened, and people assume that like they ran off or, you know, whatever.
That's going to be our second episode of Detective Dick.
They were, a lot of people say that they were eaten by pigs. And also, if let's say you're, you know, let's say you're, you know, like a farmer's wife, okay, and you find out that the farmer's been eaten by pigs. What happens to the pigs? Do the pigs like get shot because they've now developed like a taste for humans?
Well,
or do you just like, oh, they're pigs? Like,
it depends, because like if let's say that wife found out that husband was going up the road a little ways and doinking somebody he shouldn't have been, it's like, well, I got to keep the farm, so I got to sell these pigs. And probably number two, it's like, well, now I'm a single wife, you know, I'm a widow, I got to make some money, I got to sell these pigs.
Yeah.
What's a little, you know, and they're going to poop it out. I mean, you feed them a little extra grain the next time and it'll cycle through.
But okay, so this is what I'm saying, like, do those pigs need to be put down? Because, like, okay, say a dog bites a person, like, they always have to put that dog down, because then they say, oh, the dog will, you know, if the dog's bitten once, it's going to bite again.
You know, I'm curious about that, because I guarantee that, you know, it's going to be a lot of pigs, probably like 20 to 30 pigs that would be potentials to eat the person. Would you really think they'd put down 20 or 30 pigs and just dispose of them? Because probably what they would do is they'd grind them into, you know, dog food or...
But I'm saying, like, is that meat now considered tainted in the eyes of
the FDA?
Yeah, like the FDA, for example.
Probably. but that's probably where you're like, what happened? That's probably why the farmers go missing. What happened to Farmer Joe? He disappeared. Did he get eaten by a
By some
pig?
pigs?
No. Are you sure?
Okay, so, a dog bites a person and then they put the dog down because the dog, they're saying, or like if the dog like eats, like let's say like I'm, 85 or 95 and I keel over in my kitchen and nobody finds me for like 4 weeks and the dog, to save itself from starvation, the dog like eats my arm.
Yeah.
Okay. Like when I'm eventually discovered, that dog is going to be, my dog's going to be killed.
Yeah.
Because because they say, oh, the dog, since the dog has eaten people, it's developed a taste for it.
Do you really think that's the case, or do you think it's more of like, well, I don't want that fucking creepy dog in my house because now it's got the soul of Richard in it, which I would keep it because every time I'd be like, Richard, speak to me.
Roof.
Look,
that's what you'd always say.
It's humping his mic. He wants to do a show. What's up, everybody? I'm Shawn. Thump,
I'm
thump, thump,
Richard.
thump, thump, thump. It's like he's here.
But my thing, okay, so like I give you the scenario with the dog. In the case of the pig, I would submit that the pig already has the taste for humans. Otherwise, it wouldn't try to knock you over and eat your face in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's just a very human thing because, when we talked about the cougars, or whenever you hear about like a shark attack, like they always try to find that animal and kill it. Bears especially. And I wonder, do you think it's because humans have this thought of, oh my gosh, the bear's going to go back or the shark's going to go back to his group and be like, oh my God, guess what? Those things.
I bit a person.
Like, I know I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't because it's going to go right to my thighs. But oh my God, it's a lie. They say they're too sweet. I think they're just sweet enough.
Guys. So I'm swimming along. And you know those things that always dangle at the top of the water? You know what I'm talking about? Like,
you mean seals, Bob? Like, seals? Oh, I love seals. No, not seals, Joe.
The little pink things that like dangle and like they sit on these little rubber tubes, and then these little pink things just like dangle in the water.
Oh, you mean the thing where all the chemicals are coming off of it from the sunscreen? Yeah, once you get past the sunscreen bite, delicious.
Interesting but bad side note for you, Shawn. They're spotting sharks closer and closer to the coast.
Yeah, there was what was her name? There's one in the Gulf, the Florida Gulf, and she was pretty big. She's like 16 or 18 feet. This is a big old shark. I'm wondering if because of that tagging thing they've been doing, if they're just starting to see more of them than what they thought. Because everybody's like, we don't even know how like great white sharks have sex. We've never seen one. They have no clue how they do it.
Right.
Dolphin style. Yeah. They're just shy. They don't.
Well, just think about it, because you gotta fuck. They have to like fuck on the move, right? Oh my!
I've heard that's a myth.
Like, unless they're into like choking. Like, because
go belly up, go belly up, go belly up, go. Oh.
If a shark stops swimming, then it apparently stops breathing, right? So what if they like stop for a second and it's like the equivalent of like choke me a little bit.
That would be like, so, I've heard of people seeing snakes that have sex and they like get in this like weird ball of like 15 or 30 snakes. And it's like, like you look at it and it feels like you're peering into like a bit of hell. I feel like seeing two sharks have sex would be just about as equivalent.
Yeah, I just see it as being extremely aggressive.
And awkward. It's like whenever they talk about like, how did Stegosauruses have sex? Because they had those plates and those spikes.
Well, the way salmon lay eggs and then male salmon come and like jerk off on the eggs later, right? That's how salmon do it.
But sharks don't lay eggs. Or great whites, they give birth to live young.
Dude, well, I've never seen fish have sex, let alone sharks.
Well, most fish do the egg laying thing though. They go, bloop, 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 and then the guy comes along and goes. Pfft.
Well, what about seahorses?
Well, I think they intertwine their tails.
That's how they do it?
Yeah, I think so.
Like Avatar?
Yeah, they connect.
Like Avatar, but under the sea?
And it's like, I see everything. Oh, God, you sick son of a bitch. You are watching the great whites fuck. I'm into like choking.
It wraps its own tail around its neck. Harder.
What happened to Bob? Erotic asphyxiation. Need a spotter. Gotta have a spotter.
Yep.
Just don't call the sharks because they get into it and they go belly up.
You don't want to go the way of David Carra horse.
Too soon. Like I said, Richard, if that ever happens, you write my suicide note and put my pants on.
I totally would. And
delete all of my internet history. Let's see.
If like they catch me before I get your pants on, I will totally say that I was jerking you off and I didn't notice.
I didn't know he was trying to commit suicide. I just thought I was doing a good job.
I'll just say I was a bad spotter.
So going back to our story about the Cassowary, so like we said, Deputy Chief Jeff Taylor told the newspaper that the first responders got calls about 10 a.m. and they rushed the man to the hospital for trauma care, but he died. So they identified the victim as Marvin Hayhos, 75, and said a death investigation has been opened. This is like we talked about the pigs. Like if you want to get rid of a body, this is probably another way to do it. Because
feed it to this unholy abomination of a fucking bird.
Yeah, because if you look, and this is kind of later in the stuff I want to talk about, these are considered the most dangerous birds in the world. Like,
really?
We talked about the Great Emu War. If the emus would have recruited a couple of these cassowaries, game over, man. They already lost.
I'm not gonna lie, this thing looks nothing nice. Like I'm gonna describe it to people. I would say that it's basically like think of it like an ostrich, but more hairy than covered with feathers. But that's just the body.
Yeah, and I'll put a link. I'll put a link to the wiki page, and I'll try to make sure that the image on our website is the same.
As long as an ostrich. Honestly, it looks like imagine the body of an ostrich with like a turkey head on it.
Ugh. Turkeys are gross looking. So initial information indicates that this was a tragic accident. The cassowary that was involved remained secure on private property at this time.
Or was it an accident?
It was what was it? It was
that bird wanted. We'd have that bird in the interrogation room, be like, "You wanted it dead, you wanted him dead, didn't you?
Where were you?"
Well, it's getting a little hot under these lights, isn't it?
What'd you say about my wife, you son of a bitch? Shawn, get out of the room! You're getting too violent.
I'm gonna choke it by its fucking turkey neck.
Listen, so you play good cop. You're like, listen, Mr. Cassowary, do you want a cigarette? Do you want a drink? Do you want some birdseed? Oh, I'm sorry. I that was kind of inappropriate for me to offer you birdseed. I just assumed. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah.
So you can
tell you are a bird, right? I mean, I don't want to assume.
So you could talk to me like
a bird.
Did he touch you? Is that
honestly,
what happened?
You don't look like a bird.
Are you a fucking demon? Is that what's going on here?
It is. It is a demon.
So
like if hell had birds, that's what these things would look like.
No, that's a good point. These would be like hell's pirate things. Those parrots. It's like hell's parrots.
Ugh.
So cassowaries are similar to emus. They stand about 6 foot tall. They can weigh 130 pounds. Black
These
feathers.
Things are 6 feet fucking tall.
Yeah. I've seen an emu up close, and they're fucking enormous. And so you think 6 foot? Yeah, that's a big ass thing. San Diego Zoo calls these things the world's most dangerous bird. They have 4-inch dagger-like claws on each foot. So like we said, raptors, they have those little claws. Very, very similar.
Yeah.
Cassowaries can slice.
I'm looking at this thing's feet, and like their feet look enormous.
Yeah, the cassowaries can slice open any predator or potential threat with a single swift kick. Powerful legs help them run 31 miles per hour through the dense forest underbrush. So
holy shit.
Put your feet in this guy. Like he's going in, like, he's got to dump the food in the thing. It's just like pigs. Like he can't get in there because like they run after him, they'll kick him and cut his gut and they'll eat him. So he has to dump it outside and he dropped the bucket, right? He's looking around. He's like, all right, well, I don't see Betsy. So he climbs in, trips, falls down. Yeah, then what happens as he rolls over? Betsy's right there on top of him. doing a little bobby head
I'm looking
thing.
at a picture of this thing's feet right now, and they look. You're absolutely right. They legit look exactly like a raptor claw, but not like you know how you remember in the movie like the raptor claw was like big and curvy.
Mm-hmm.
Like
What do these look
imagine
like?
a raptor claw but flat.
Oh, so it's like a shiv.
Yeah, kinda, because it comes out to a point. It looks like this thing would. Ugh. No, thank you.
So as Detective Dick and Sergeant Shawn are getting down to what happened here, so I think we've got our reason for this bird to do what it did. So cassowaries are eaten in parts of New Guinea. The birds are not raised for food in the U.S., but are sought after by collectors of exotic birds. So one, these things are eaten in New Guinea, and here they're just sold as like, you know, cool little weird animals you can have on your farm to show off to people. It's like, hey, you want to go in and touch the most dangerous bird? I bet that's what happens, actually. I bet they sell this as a thrill. It's like the people that shark dive.
Yeah. Or the
you know
people
what?
that fucking are going to the people that are going to stomp on eagle eggs. Like, oh, I want to feel alive.
That's a good point. Yeah, this is the host. You can stomp on eagle eggs. You can dive with sharks. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio, he was like, I'm scared of sharks, which I am. He's like, so I wanted to conquer my fear. So I got in the water with sharks. Guess what happened, Richard? Cage broke.
Well,
Shark got in the cage. You don't mess with that stuff. Yeah. Why tempt it? Because you know that's what would happen to me.
Yeah.
Get in there, bites my arm.
I spent all that time trying to convince you to like face your fear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's all right, Shawn. You're in a cage. It's fine. You're in the cage and you go in the water and sharks in the water. Our sharks in the water, but you're in the cage, so you're just fine. You know who survived? Let me tell you who survived. Richard Dreyfuss survived. And you know where he was? He was in the cage.
Yeah. Well, it fell down, and then the shark left him. But, Richard, what would happen is it'd bite my right arm off. I'd come out of the water, and they'd, like, tape it, so I'm, like, barely, my last words would be like, if I survive this, you're going to have to jerk me off for the rest of my life. Dodge that bullet.
Yeah, I did.
Wait,
I almost had to throw you up to the shark.
Richard, are you tightening that? I think we got the turn. No, wait, don't loosen it. Oh, sorry. My bad.
That's not how it's supposed to work.
We can use him for chum, right? Yes. He just disappeared.
These claws look fucking nasty. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So
all I'm saying is these claws look fucking gross.
To talk about him a little bit more, because this story kind of comes to an end, but just so we can figure out, like he didn't illegally own these birds, but to attain a mandatory permit, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission requires cassowary owners to have substantial experience and meet specific cage requirements. They were talking to Karen Parker. She's a spokesman. She says the commission lists the cassowary as a type of wildlife that can pose a danger to people. Obviously.
Especially with fucking feet like this. Oh my God. These look exactly, it looks almost exactly like a fucking raptor foot.
So, I mean, like...
Oh my God, is this a descendant of the raptor?
Actually, on the Wikipedia page, their sea ossel is raptors. Ooh. Well... I wanted to look a little bit more into the attacks list because it's the most dangerous bird in the world, right? So obviously you're like, okay, well, how dangerous is it? So looking at its relationship with humans, so some New Guinea Highland societies captured these chicks and raised them as semi-tame poultry for use in ceremonial gifts and things like that. So they were domesticated, just like pigs. These are like New Guinea's pigs. They're like guinea pigs.
Fuck that. There's no way I would want a flock of these, like, living next to my house.
Dude, birds freak me out to begin with. Like parrots, like I'm semi-okay with, but if you had one of these things like the bobbin head, like we talked about the emu thing, that freaked me out.
When Amanda and I first started living together, we had this one bedroom apartment and her mom had a dove and her mom didn't want it. So Amanda's like, oh, we'll take it. So I had this dove in my fucking house. Oh my God, this dove would not shut the fuck up.
Just kept tweeting.
And night. Just constantly.
Richard, did you go visit a farm and this dove disappeared? AKA became pig food.
I did. I fed this dove to pigs, and I smiled while I watched the pigs tear this dove apart.
Wait a minute. You've got a pretty long history with birds. Did that eagle actually break into your house, or did you like make a deal with it to eat this dove?
No, this was like, no, the difference between the bird flying in my house and the dove, like, there was like, how many years? It was like at least 5 years. 5 or 6 years between me killing this dove with my bare hands. What I mean to say was me sending this dove on a lovely path to dove heaven.
Who knew? Doves' heads just pop off when they turn 3. Just happens.
Pretty bird. Pretty bird.
Richard, it didn't have a head.
I took care of it.
So these cassowary Richards, they have a reputation for being dangerous to people and domestic animals. So like we talked about the Emu War of World War I, right? It's like right after World War I. During World War II, American and Australian troops stationed in New Guinea were warned to steer clear of them. So like, listen, we Australians got our ass kicked by emus, which are the cousin of these cassowaries. We ain't fucking with those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Emus
play by... how many birds there were? Thousands.
Emus play by our rule book. These cassowaries, they don't. They just fucking kill everything.
Old Tim, there's a veteran of the Emu War, aren't you, Tim? That's right. You speak Emu too, don't you, Tim? That's right. He helped sign the treaty. I got to write the I on the pen.
So we should kill all these cassowaries? No. God, no.
They'll kill you first.
Then fuck your corpse. Really? Yeah.
Yep. Then they'll pull out your wallet and they'll find out where you live. And then they'll go to your house and they'll have relations with your wife. Relations with my wife?
Yeah.
I don't even have that.
They'll have 12 kids. They'll provide a great life for them. How do you know that? Tim over here told me. He wants you to look at his family photos. Let's see. So there's this book, this 1958 book called Living Birds of the World by ornithologist Ernest Thomas Gillard. And this is a little quote from it. It says, "The inner or second of the 3 toes is fitted with a long, straight, murderous nail which can sever an arm or eviscerate an abdominal with ease. There are many records of natives being killed by this bird."
I completely believe it because like I'm looking at it and it's got like on its feet, it's got like 3 toes. I put toes in quotes, but it's got 3 toes and like 2 of them look like, kind of like what you'd see on like a big lizard. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like not really sharp, but just kind of like a big nail. Okay. But then the 3rd toe has basically the equivalent of like a spike. Is what it looks like. It looks like a big giant spike, all sharp and pointy. As soon as you sent me this picture, I was like, fuck. As soon as I looked at this picture, because I found a picture of just their feet, and I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah. You know, you have to be thankful to live like in the United States where there's some stuff here that'll definitely kill us, but there's no birds, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, could you imagine going to sleep tonight knowing that if you walked outside to go pee in the yard, that one of these things could be waiting out there, and you would die hearing, hear a bunch of them in the corner laughing?
Because it would kill me.
Yeah.
That's exactly what would happen. This bird would kill me.
They've got a couple other tales of... What'd you send me?
I sent you a picture of their feet.
Nope.
See, I'm saying it looks like a big, like a railroad spike.
But
like I just imagine that going through my goddamn eye socket.
And this guy had talked about, there's a lot of natives in that area that talked about these birds killing numerous of their like tribe members. You know what I mean? Like this will be a thing of legend. Like you walk out there like, wait, some dumb fucking bird? Like, oh, okay, let's go do this. Like we've got grizzly bears. We know how to handle this. Yeah. You walk out.
20 minutes later, shit.
Fuck this. This is Cassowary country now.
Tim was a veteran of the Emu War, and they stabbed him.
Wait, holy shit, did they grab his wallet? Tell me who got his wallet. No, they got that too.
They got his wallet.
Well,
somebody send warning to Tim's wife.
Beep, 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 ring, ring, ring. Bop, 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 bop. Oh, God, he's already there. Well, at least she'll be taken care of. That's how they got
provide a good life. That's what he said, right? That's what he said.
Yeah, I heard that's how they got the inspiration for the Notebook.
Oh.
So here's a couple tidbits of some.
What do you want?
I built this chicken coop for you.
That's what you need to do, guys. Just rewatch the Notebook, and every time Rachel, if you're with your girlfriend and you're watching the Notebook, every time Rachel McAdams talks, just.
So the assessment of danger posed by cassowaries has been repeated in print. Numerous different authors have talked about it, but in a 2003 study, 221 cassowary attacks showed that 150 of them had been against humans. So roughly 75%. 75% of these have been where they were fed by people. So it's kind of like the whole idea of, if you feed the bears, they become dependent on it, and then they start attacking because it's like, hey, fucker, where's my food?
Yeah, because now they're like expecting it.
71% of the time the bird had chased or charged the victim. 15% of the time they kicked, where we talked about they got that powerful kick. And of the attacks, 73% involved the bird expecting or snatching food. 5% involved defending their natural food sources. So really 5% of those so far sounds where it's in a situation where it's actually like protecting its own area, where the rest of it seems it was more like humans kind of, fucking with them, basically.
Yeah. Hey, stupid hairy birds.
Yeah. So the first documented human death caused by cassowary was on April 6, 1926. Oh my God, Richard. I think we just... Well, yeah, there's that. And I think we just wrote like the next Jaws. Like we talked about them remaking Jaws. No, isn't he called this Cassowary? It's like, wait, is this like a... God.
And you could totally like reenact the scene of them in like the fucking grass.
Yeah.
Like there's this flock of cassowaries and you're like, what is that? And somebody's like, Cassowary! And you're like, that movie with fucking Tom Hanks? And like, no, not Castaway.
Oh, I get it. Everybody yell, Wilson!
Yep.
No, because it is, because like, so this is in Australia, right? And what do kids love to do in Australia? They love to strip down after they're drinking their Fosters, and they love to run in the long grass all naked, which I don't think you would, because it'd probably cut you up pretty good.
Yeah, it would.
But Richard, in Australia, a 16-year-old named Philip McLean and his brother, age 13, came across a cassowary on their property. Well, this is kind of their fault. They decided to try and kill it by striking it with clubs. Richard, sometimes, nature, survival of the fittest just kind of takes its course, right? If you see a 6 foot tall anything, why would your first thought be like, hey, you see that stick? Grab it. We're going to go beat the shit out of it till it's dead.
Nope.
I don't think it's going to end well.
Nope. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, so let me paint this picture for you. So these kids run over, they're screaming, they're like going to beat the crap out of this. The bird kicked the younger boy, who fell and ran away as his older brother struck the bird. So the older McQueen, the 16-year-old one, tripped and fell to the ground. So they're like beating it. One of them gets kicked. Like, oh, fuck, that hurt. Look at that fucking blade. Run. Good die, mate. There you go, Shrimp Bobby. Danger, danger, danger. So while he was on the ground, the cassowary kicked him in the neck, opening a half-inch wound that may have severed his jugular vein. This is the older one. So the boy died of his injuries shortly thereafter.
Because it totally would.
Yeah, so again, like, not very, like, smart. They also talk about, I guess, this dog in 1995 was around one of these things, and it kicked him. It didn't puncture it or anything. It just kicked it really hard. And the dog ended up dying from intestinal rupture. So it kicked it so hard that its intestines just, like, exploded.
Well, it exploded?
Essentially, yeah, it ruptured it. So it kicked it so hard it caused internal bleeding, and this dog died. Which,
oh my God.
again, you think the 6-foot-tall bird, strong kit can run 31 miles an hour. Of course, and it's kind of like, I don't know. It's weird to think of this. How's this thing going to kick this dog? Because it's got like those human looking legs. Did it like the dog was long ways that came running and kicked it like a football?
Yeah, I'm guessing it. Honestly, my guess is it fucking jumps up. It jumps up and fucking like tries to stab you in the face.
So this article that they shared, this guy basically is kind of going through and saying that the reason that these animals are attacking is more because of humans' fault than the animals themselves. So this is kind of the attacks on the paragraph. So he talks about the 221 that we just talked about a little bit, but goes a little bit more in detail. So the attacks against the humans, victims were chased in 85 of them. They were charged 45. They were kicked 28. They were pushed 9. They were pecked 8. And they were jumped on 4 times. They were butted with the head twice and robbed of food 2. So I want to know those.
Slept with their wife.
221. I want to know the guy who's like, you got these 221 victims, and they're going through all this. Is like, oh yeah, my Uncle Charlie, he was a veteran of the Great Emu War, and this Cassowary jumped on him and kicked him in the balls. Like, one came and took my picnic basket. Everybody snickers, and they're like, one other dude's like, yeah, me too. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
We're dealing with a traumatic event. He took your picnic basket. He took my balls and my wife.
I don't even get to see the kids anymore. They call him Dad.
They call him Dad.
And you know what he says? Which I assume means I love you.
I see him every other weekend. And whenever they want to talk, whenever my kids are like, they want to talk and they don't want me to know what's going on, they go, wah, 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 wah.
He's taught him his language.
And I'm like, did you learn that from your stepfather?
You mean my dad?
And then I go to my room and cry.
I wish there was a Cassowary war. I know we'd lose, but I'd take some of those sons of bitches out.
I would. And the first one I take is the one that's sleeping with my wife.
You know what? The Notebook used to be my favorite movie ever, but I can't watch it anymore. So in 4 of the attacks on humans, the cassowaries jumped on top of the victims. 1 attack resulted in the death. In the fatal attack, the victim had struck and tried to kill the bird, then ran but tripped and fell. I think this might be the story about the McLean guy.
Okay.
In the second instant, the victim was walking backwards while photographing, lost balance and fell, which we've talked about before. People going to places and like, oh my God, a moose. Let's take a picture of the moose.
Yeah. Oh, let's stand next to this moose and we'll take a fucking picture. And then they walk up and then the moose is like, hey, while we're here and we're all hanging out for this picture, why don't I just stab you with with this array of knives that I have attached to my head?
Oh my God, I didn't realize they were that sharp. Yeah. You know who else says that? Somebody who has a cassowary on top of them, except my wife.
Except for my wife.
Let's see. So they fell backwards taking pictures. In a third instant, the victim was bending over.
Oh.
No, it's not our anniversary, Greg. Let's see. In the latter 2 instances, the victims were under the cassowary's food trees and had been picking up fruit and feeding the birds by hand. In a 4th incident, a 5-year-old girl was carrying a bag of rubbish to deposit in a bin, and a cassowary who had been habitually fed by humans charged the girl, who ran but tripped and fell. Which seems like the thing here, like I'm guessing with the other guy in Florida, if you're around a cassowary, don't bend over one and don't fall.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically like you can get away, just don't fuck it up. So it sounds like that it's that trope that you see in horror
movies. Yeah. That's where they got it from.
Where they're like running and then they trip on a rock and then they're like, ah.
Oh,
and then the bird's like, damn you, Rachel McAdams.
These things also hate dogs, apparently. So 29 of the 35 attacks to dogs were in self-defense, or dogs hate these things. But in 6 incidents, the cassowaries appeared to act without provocation. However, dogs are predators of cassowaries through that.
Oh, they are?
Apparently, yeah. So, I mean, the tale of this is really that these cassowaries are the world's most dangerous birds. And they're not fun, apparently. They've killed some people. And apparently, after World War I, the Great Emu War, nobody wanted a cassowary war. So they just signed a treaty and gave up their lives.
Every year we send a young girl out to appease the great and mighty cassowaries. And now I'm just picturing some lady like in a white gown, and she's like wandering through the field. She'd be like, "No, I don't." And then the birds come, and then you just see this giant flock of birds come out,
pop their heads out of the grass. But Richard, so in looking through this, I thought it'd be interesting that we got to compare what other dangerous birds there are in this world. Because whenever I think of birds, I don't really think of many of them being very dangerous. Like emus and stuff like that. Yeah,
and
we
know
they're big.
And now this fucking nightmare, fucking God's own abomination of a fucking bird we have right here.
God, they are just creepy as hell looking too. Like they've got like pure black feathers on their body. Like this one has some red, some blue, and then like a freaking turkey thing, except on its neck, it's like sticking up like a mohawk on its head. But let's go through the 6 of the world's most dangerous birds. So the first one is the cassowary. The second one is an ostrich, which is kind of like an emu.
So an ostrich is number 2?
Oh, I guess emus and ostriches are different. No, I've seen an ostrich up close, not an emu. Yeah, ostriches are number 2. So they're flightless birds that are found only in Africa.
I didn't know ostriches were number 2. Some places you can find ostrich eggs, and eat them. You can eat ostrich eggs.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, I bet you can eat some cassowary eggs too. Because apparently
I want to try it.
Yeah, I know. Well, maybe you'd gain the powers of the cassowary.
You just sneak into Rachel McAdams' house.
You just lay in bed with her. Rah, 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 and she rolls over. And then she's like, I want to go belly up. You're like, wait a minute. That's a whole different part of this podcast.
I thought you were a shark. Or I thought you were a bird. Now you want to... I don't... She's an apex predator. You're just running out of Rachel McAdams' house. She's an apex predator!
So ostriches, they're flightless birds that are found only in Africa. They're 9 feet tall, and they weigh almost 330 pounds. Let's see. They're two-toed. See if there's anything interesting about this.
I think everybody kind of generally knows with the ostrich.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if they had any interesting tidbits. This one it's about Johnny Cash. So one of the most interesting ostrich attack stories involves Johnny Cash, who kept an exotic animal park with ostriches on his property. Cash encountered an aggressive male ostrich several times during his walks in the woods in 1981. On one occasion, Cash brandished a 6-foot stick and swung it at the bird, who dodged the swipe and slashed at Cash with his foot. Cash noted that the blow struck him in the stomach, and if it weren't for a strong belt buckle, he said the ostrich toe claw would have cut his abdomen and killed him.
Damn.
But you know what? He probably could have been on a fever dream at that point. 1981, Johnny Cash. Wasn't that when he was kind of in his not very good phases?
No, he didn't. He wasn't sick until the 90s.
No, I mean
late 90s.
Heavy drug use, wasn't it? That's what that Joaquin Phoenix story taught me.
Was that the 80s? I thought that was closer to the 70s.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Time's weird.
It is. With a name like Johnny Cash, you gotta like drugs, right? Emus are number 3, and we know about the Great Emu War.
Yeah.
Post World War I.
Yep.
There's
episode. Which one is it? If anybody wants to
81.
Go back, 160. Is it that far back?
I think it's it was pre 100. It's been it was year 2 or 3 of LB.
Okay.
Just search Emu War on our website, or just keep skinning and find the Great Emu War, and you'll find it.
Yeah.
Number 4 is this lammergeier, Lammergeier. It's a type of bearded vulture. It's an eagle-like vulture of the old world family, something or another. They can reach 40 inches with their wingspan.
See, these sound like the kind of things you find in like Transylvania, like circling the castle.
Yeah.
That's what, as soon as you said that, as soon as you kind of described it, like that's where my mind went.
These things look kind of like vultures, but more eagle-like. And vultures,
yeah,
you kind of
like
look
you're
at,
riding up to the castle and you see those birds like, wah, wah,
oh yeah, the
wah.
ones that sit on the dead tree and look at you.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of these.
So to make you feel comfortable, so they have these big like hard noses, and it's used to crack open victims' bones and allow the birds to access the marrow. Attacks on humans are rare. However, the Athenian dramatist something or another, Aeschylus, 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 is said to have died at Gela when a limagir, this bird, dropped a tortoise on his bald head.
Damn.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's not really, I wouldn't say that's really, it might have not been intentional. That could have just been like a freak fucking accident.
Yeah, I agree there. Number 5.
Although, what a way to go. Like, you die from a turtle being dropped on your head.
I don't know. Whenever, like, if you stand up and, like, hit your head on, like, a shelf or something like that, nothing pisses me off more.
Well, yeah, nothing would really piss you. You know what would piss you off more? Fucking having a turtle hit you in the head and kill you.
Like, donk out, dead. Number 5, Richard, the great...
God damn it, Thud.
The great horned owl. Let's see. So there's some pretty big attacks with these things. In 2012, a number of people in the Seattle area park reported being attacked by a great horned owl that swooped down from trees. Similar swooping attack occurred in Salem, Oregon. In 2015, when a great horned owl repeatedly struck the scalp of a jogger who ran and later escaped. Great horned owls are powerful predators that often grow to more than 2
bird
feet
claws,
in length.
bird talons are no joke.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder I guess if it had a nest maybe and it was protecting it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But, like, there's a reason whenever you see, like, falconers or, like, people that handle those kind of birds, like, there's a reason you see them wearing, like, a gigantic, thick-ass fucking leather glove.
Yeah. Well, and some of these birds are, like surprisingly big. Like, owls. Owls are huge. Like, you don't think about it when you see them. But you get up to one, you're like, holy shit, that thing's like 3 feet tall. And you think 3 feet's like, well, I'm 5-6 foot. Like, that's not big, right? And then you're like, wait a minute. My kid's like 2.5 foot. That's taller than my kid.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you say bird, like, you're imagining like a fucking robin or a sparrow flying around. You're like, oh, look at the little bird. You're not imagining this fucking giant winged devil of the night fucking swooping down and tearing your face off.
Owls do that head thing where they can turn their head like 360 degrees. I love owls, though. Owls are pretty cool.
Yeah, they do look pretty sweet.
The great horned owl, the one that we're talking about, it has a clutching force of 500 psi, which is similar to a bite from a large guard dog. And they do go after like rabbits and some bigger game, so I could see it.
Yeah, dude, they'll fucking just pick it up.
So this one is I think it was part of a podcast, which is the number 6 bird is the barred owl. So these are another, like, United States, Canada bird. And the barred owl is thought to have played a part in a bizarre, high-profile North Carolina murder case. I don't know if you've heard about this. I've only heard a little bit about it. I haven't. So in 2003, a man was convicted of murdering his second wife with a fireplace blowpoke. In 2011, after the man had served several years in prison, a judge tossed out the forensic evidence related to the murder weapon. Shortly thereafter, news of a barred owl attack in the Pacific Northwest, combined with a re-examination of the wounds to the victim's scalp, face, and wrist, prompted the defendant's attorney to suggest that a barred owl was to blame for the victim's death. So what I heard of this story is this guy said that this owl was in the house and attacked his wife, and his wife fell down the stairs, and he had a picker from his fireplace and tried to beat the owl, but I think he hit his wife instead accidentally or something like that. Like, it was super weird. And everybody's like,
that's a super weird ass story.
Yeah, like Detective Dick and Sergeant Shawn are like, listen,
are you sure?
Yeah.
Is this what you're going with? Like, you're gonna have to repeat this later in court in front of people while you're wearing a suit. Like,
this sounds like the big pig case of 1998 where the lie's like, oh my God, my husband fell in with the pigs.
Yeah.
We're like, she got off.
know
We're
what
not
happened.
letting you go. But all this evidence pointed in that direction.
She was sleeping with the owl, wasn't she? That's what happened. Get away from my wife.
I guess
Andrew, no! Whack. That's what happened. That's what actually happened.
Yeah.
Is the guy walked in the house and found out that the owl was sleeping with his wife, and so in a jealous rage, he went to grab the poker and he was trying to hit the owl and kill it, and he hit his wife instead. That's the story he should have told. He'd be like, "Look, this owl was violating the sanctity of my marriage."
What am I supposed to do, Sarge? Huh? Am I supposed to let that happen? What do you think their kids would look like? Well, that's just
probably look like that fucking abomination, the Cassowary.
But that's the thing, Richard. Fire pokers don't kill. Husbands who come home early and catch their wife fucking owls do.
Yeah, they do.
But Richard, I know we have tons to fear. I fear the ocean. I don't know what your biggest fear is, animal-wise. But I think we just figured it out this episode. Cassowaries.
Now it's this goddamn bird. This unholy fucking union of beast and demon. I don't know what the fuck this thing is.
Well, Richard, as we're tidying up, we just introduced the world to the world's most dangerous bird. Do you have any Richard's closing thoughts?
Stay away from a cassowary, because apparently they're the modern day. It's a raptor with feathers. And
yeah, they said all the dinosaurs are gone, Richard. I don't believe it. Alligators, crocodiles, now cassowaries.
Hopefully they haven't learned to open doors yet.
Oh, fuck.
I know, right?
Well, I've got round door handles, so I would imagine, opposable thumbs, you kind of need those.
Maybe.
And child-proof locks. I can't even get
unless they do it with their beaks.
Oh, good point. Or they just claw the door open.
Yeah.
Shady craftsmanship.
Yeah, they just fucking stab holes in it and knock the door down because they're 6 feet fucking tall.
All right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping and fortify this home before these fuckers come into our place. Visit our website, languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Like us on Facebook. And remember, we are part of the group that is standing up against these cassowaries, the Pod Bros Network.
Yes, the one defense against the Cassowary menace.
Well, I heard that they like Pod Bros Network, so we're on their good side.
Thank goodness.
All right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
No. Stay safe, everybody.
All right. Well, that's all the Bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat the beaver.
The Cassowary. Rachel McAdams, get out of here.